Welcome back, everybody. I am the Drag Detective, and we are here to talk about Season 10 and how it might have went if it were maybe not rigged. Now, in my video, if you have not seen it yet, Rigged Season 10, I go over the fact that comparatively to more recent seasons, especially the season we're watching right now, Season 10 is not that rigged. It's really not. So there wasn't a ton of things I had to change, but I will say that the things that I did change make a huge impact on how this season would have went. So with my expertise and with your guys' opinions from the poll that I put out, I think that I have created how season 10 would have went if it was judged fairly. Now, guys, I have changed this up so many times, probably 5 or 6 times. I have gone back and looked at this and been like, no, I'm going to change this. No, I'm going to change this. Going back and forth, really trying to figure out, without any bias, how would it have gone if there was no production interference whatsoever. This time, unlike maybe other seasons that I've done, I feel like there's a less satisfying conclusion at the end, but we will get there. So, like I said before, sometimes it's good to have a little bit of rigging just to make the season a bit more satisfying in the end. And we're going to see that here. But before we get into it, if you are not already, make sure to subscribe to this channel, put on that notification bell, and maybe even follow me on Instagram or Twitter. If you are able, I would love to have you over at our Patreon. I'm about to drop March's patron-only video. And if you liked my Q&A video from last week, there's a couple extra questions that I didn't get to that I threw on the Patreon. We have $1, $3, and $5 options, so it is not very expensive because we are in a pandemic. All right, that's all the housekeeping we have today, so let's get into how Season 10 of Drag Race would have went if it was judged fairly. Episode 1. I didn't put Dusty in the bottom 3. I think that she was put there because they wanted to call out her makeup. And there was definitely worse looks on this runway, just like the sponge dress. I mean, I think it would have maybe been more iconic if it was in the bottom 3, if we really got to look at it for longer and, take it all in. So I did put Monet in the bottom 3 here, but Calorie and Vanjie had the worst 2 looks, and Calorie wins the lip sync and sends home Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. But don't be alarmed, she comes back for season 11, and then the whole thing gets rigged for her. So it really all works itself out. I mean, was there really any question that I was going to give Monique Hart the win here? I mean, is there any question? The polls, no question. My opinion, no question. Everyone who watches this show, no question. Monique Hart won this challenge. And unfortunately, that bumps Yuha Hamasaki to safe because I felt like Cracker and Blair, they just have better looks than her, used some different materials. That is what changes in episode 1. Episode 2, we have the Farmer Rusical, and I'm just going to be switching the low placement here. I think Aquaria should have been in the bottom 3 instead of Monique, as Aquaria had a much more, defined character that she had to play, and I feel like she missed the mark on a lot of the things that she could have done to really make her old lady character feel like an old lady, rather than just wearing a hospital gown for no reason. So I did put Aquaria in the bottom 3 here, and Monique would be safe with the rest of her team. I mean, obviously Vixen's team won that, and Vixen did incredible, and Vixen still wins, and the rest of her team is high. Eureka is still in the bottom with Calorie. Calorie goes home. Episode 3. I actually didn't change a single thing here. So the whole episode plays out just like it did. Mayhem is in the bottom 2 and kills the lip sync, sending home everyone's favorite bootlegger, Yuha Hamasaki. Episode 4, I didn't change the bottom 3 at all. Monet Exchange still sends home Dusty Ray Bottoms, but I do think that the top placements were a bit off here. Like I said in our rigged video, I would not have put Cameron or Ms. Cracker in the top 3. I would have put Eureka and Mayhem Miller. I think that their final looks were 2 of the best of the night, and their first 2 looks were also great. I actually did a little bit of a chart to help me figure out the placements for this episode, and I'll throw that little chart up on my Patreon if you want to check it out. So Aquaria still wins. This is still my favorite ball performance of all time. Gottmik did come close, but still, this is incredible to me, all three of these looks. Okay, Bossy Rossi, episode 5. Here's where things are going to change. Things are going to be pretty different from here on out. Mayhem Miller had no business being in that bottom 2, and not even bottom 3, to be honest, because Asia was bad, Vixen was terrible, Monet was bad, Mayhem was just meh. And she had a good enough runway that I was like, okay, these 3 all did worse than you in the challenge. We're going to make these the bottom 3. Now, the top 3 I did not touch. Eureka still wins. I know a lot of you really wanted Ms. Cracker to win. And in the poll, she actually did get the most points here. What I'm going to say to that is, I think Eureka's performance was the closest to what the challenge was parodying, which is like these trashy daytime scandal shows. I think Ms. Cracker, I think her character was great and what she did with it was great. But compared to like Eureka, who was rolling on the ground and being crazy, and Monique, who was snatching wigs and screaming, that's what I expect from these kinds of shows. So in my humble opinion, I think that Eureka still won because she gave the essence of what the challenge was parodying. But if you disagree, then Ms. Cracker won this challenge. It really doesn't matter. It truly does not matter. So there's that. The bottom 3, Monet, Vixen, and Asia. Now, Monet, I'm going to automatically put in the bottom because her look is crunchy. Super ugly crunchy. Now, Asia and Vixen both look incredible, in my opinion. So we can't really rely on runway. And to be honest, Asia might have been the one that fumbled the ball and kind of got the whole thing off track, but the Vixen was the one that struggled the most of the 2. Asia was fine, but the Vixen was bad. I mean, she was really, really bad. So I put her on the bottom here with Monet Exchange, but do not fret because this would be the double Shantae of this season because it is an iconic gay anthem, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, that people have been begging for. And as we saw, Monet gave a very comedic performance that was great. But I think here Vixen would give a very, death droppy, shablamming, flipping across the stage kind of performance. And I think those both working together would be amazing. And I think this would be our double Shantae. And I mean, is anyone shocked? These are the 2 best lip syncers on the season. So going into the next episode, which on the show was the DragCon panels, but we need 9 queens for that. And because we have the double Shantae here, we still have 10. So we're just going to switch an episode around. We're going to do Snatch Game first. And they have had 10-person Snatch Games before, so it's not like something crazy. Aquaria is still going to win. Monet and Eureka are still going to be in the top 3 with her. But our bottom 3 will change because I put the Vixen and Asia O'Hara in the bottom together. I think that, yes, Monique had a really bad performance, but she got one joke in there, calling Trump a Cheeto. She got one laugh from RuPaul, and her runway might not have been that good, but neither were the Vixen or Asia. So, to be honest, I don't think Monique should have been in the bottom here. Those 2 sunk each other. Like, Asia and Vixen sunk each other because they were relying on each other so much in that, and they both flopped. So I think they both should have had to lip sync. And here is where the thing that I brought up in the last video on season 10 comes into play, because under this mask that Asia's wearing, she just has black paint on her eyes and around her mouth so that you don't see her skin behind the mask. So she either, 1, leaves the mask on and Rue has to be like, bitch, take off the mask, or 2, she does take off the mask and then has black paint on her eyes and her mouth, which is just kind of strange to look at, right? So, yes, Asia is a pretty decent lip syncer. She's not incredible. She's not meh. She's like in between. She's a good lip syncer. She's pretty good. But the Vixen in this lip sync was great. And I don't think with such a happy, cheerful song like Cut to the Feeling, that Asia, dancing with black, creepy paint on her face, will be able to either emote or bring about the vibe that is necessary for the song. Whereas the vixen is sitting here in this, pastel blue and green wig, and she looks like a bubblegum pop singer. So it's, as much as I love Asia O'Hara is going to go home here. And I definitely think that after going through it, Asia was one of the queens that had the most rigging in her favor on this season. So I'm not shocked to have seen her go home so soon. I know this is probably a controversial, I don't know. To me, it's not controversial because I know how great the vixen is at lip syncing. And I know how at a disadvantage Asia would have been in the bottom two here, which is why they didn't put her in the bottom two. So this is probably what would have happened. Also, we have Blair St. Clair and Mayhem Miller, who are still in the competition here. We've never seen Mayhem do a snatch game. I don't particularly see her doing incredible, but the bottom three here were bad. It's not like any of them were, well, they were fine. They just, everyone else did pretty good. No, all three of them were horrible. So do I think Mayhem could do better? Yes. Yes, I do. And we also saw Blair do Snatch Game in All Stars, and she was the embodiment of mediocre, but not bad, right? I wasn't cringing watching her. I wasn't like, oh, this sucks. I was just like, ugh. You know what I mean? So compared to the bottom three here, I think that Blair would have been on the lower end, but still safe. So we're at the DragCon panels, and the queens got to choose their teams in this challenge. So we're going to have to switch things up a little bit because we have a different dynamic of queens here, with Asia being gone and Mayhem being there. Now, this was the episode I had the most trouble trying to figure out. I switched things around 30 times. What I do know, Mayhem and Eureka were best friends. I think that they would have been on a team together. Cameron and Eureka were also good friends. I think that Cameron would have been with those two. So then we have to look at who's left. Vixen, Blair, and Cracker were all really good friends. They're still going to be a group. So that leaves Monet, Monique, and Aquaria. The only thing that's going to change here is Monet is with them, which, to be honest, makes more sense because Monet and Monique were such good friends during filming and, still to this day. Those are going to be the groups. I think this makes the most sense. So we have Monique, Monet, and Aquaria's group still safe. Here's a, get ready for it, get ready, controversial opinion. Mayhem Miller would win this challenge. 100%. If you have not seen Mayhem, she owns LA, right? She just gets on the mic and she runs these bars, these drag nights. She literally is in charge of so many people at the bars. This is nothing for her. And she's been to DragCon before. Unlike many of the other girls on the season, yes, Eureka did great. I think Eureka did great in this challenge. But Mayhem, she brings out that smile and she brings out that kind of sassy, fun attitude that she has. And I think that the audience is going to be falling in love with her. Do I think it could have been a double win? At that point, just make it a triple win and give all three of them a win, which, to be honest, they could have done. But I really, really think this would be, of every challenge in the season, Mayhem's best bet to win. Because she is just so charismatic and she is so charming and she can win over an audience, right? I do think Mayhem would win here. The bottom three, still the same. Cracker, Vixen, and Blair. Cracker is safe, mostly because of her runway. And we have Vixen and Blair in the bottom two, and Blair goes home. So now we have the Cher Rusical with one extra person. So we're just going to throw in a burlesque part of it. And I'm not going to say who would get what, because really, who knows? But what I do know is that we have Mayhem and Monique here, who were not in the original. Now, Mayhem, I don't know if Mayhem can sing. We know she can't really rap on All Stars 5 without sounding just like gibberish. So I'm not sure about that. Monique can definitely sing. I think this would be a great challenge for Monique. I think that she will definitely be on the top along with Cameron and Monet. But I'm going to give the challenge win here to Monet over Cameron because one, she just had much harder choreography that she completely nailed, whereas Cameron didn't really have any choreography. And Monet had stronger vocals. Maybe Cameron sounded a little bit more like Cher, but Cameron's voice was very shaky, she was pitchy, whereas Monet sounded incredible throughout her entire thing. So better vocals, better choreography. I don't see a reason why Monet should not have won this over Cameron. But Cameron is still going to be in the top because she just had that Cher essence along with Monique. So now we have the 5 left. We have Aquaria, who did not so good. We have Mayhem, who I don't foresee doing great, but at the same time, she does have a stage presence. She can dance, and can she sing? We're not sure, but half these queens couldn't. So there's that. Cracker, who we saw had a really good performance that was just kind of overlooked. Then we have Eureka, who honestly didn't do that great, especially in the first half of her performance. She really didn't, I guess, start to shine until the very end of her performance and feel more comfortable on stage. And then we have the Vixen, who went home in this episode. Spoiler alert, Vixen is still going to go home this episode, but we're going to put Aquaria in the bottom with her since we don't have Asia here, who flopped even harder. Aquaria, she seemed so nervous. I think it was doing the live vocals. You could just see the terror in her face. Yeah, she hit her choreo and was fine, but she didn't exude Cher. She didn't sound like Cher. She just looked so nervous. The vocals were shaky. It was not good. So we're going to put Aquaria in the bottom here with the Vixen. Lip syncing to Groove Is in the Heart. Now, do I think Vixen is a better lip syncer than Aquaria? Yes. But Aquaria has 2 wins at this point, and this is the Vixen's 4th time in the bottom. Aquaria is a pretty decent lip syncer. I would even say now she's great. So Aquaria would win this lip sync, I think, overall. As Vixen, I don't know if she'd given up at this point or what, but this just wasn't Vixen's best lip sync, right? I think Aquaria could do better. Now we are at Breast World. Here is where Monique Hart, I think, is going to shine. She's going to get her 2nd win here. As we saw in All Stars 4, she can kill a comedy challenge. And really no one other than Monet did all that great in this challenge. And Aquaria. So that's our top 3. And Monique is going to obviously slay this challenge and run away with the whole thing. Now, Cracker was not good, but I think that Mayhem would do worse. So I'm going to put Mayhem as low here. But as we saw, Eureka and Cameron just had very, very bland performances. Very bland. Now the question is, would Mayhem do worse than either of them? I'm not sure. We've never seen Mayhem do an actual acting challenge. We've seen her do improv and stuff, but at this point, Mayhem had just gotten a win. I think that she was in a good headspace. So I think that she would do better. Cameron is the worst, but I think that she would do better than Eureka here, especially because I think that the judges expected so much more from Eureka. So they were extra disappointed when she was like super bland and just kind of awkward. Whereas I think that this isn't like a strength of Mayhem's. So even if she does okay in it, they're going to see it as kind of like a win for her. So I'm going to put Mayhem as low, and I'm going to put Eureka in the bottom 2 here. And this is another one that I was like on the fence. Like, would Mayhem do better than Eureka? I don't know. And so I really just took it to your guys' polls. And you guys voted Mayhem as safe in Breast World. So I just was like, you know what? I think she would do worse than Cracker. So let's put her low. So obviously Cameron wins this lip sync. And Eureka's going to go home, which I think is going to be kind of a gag to some people. But I mean, Cameron won that lip sync 100%. So we go into the final 6, which is our makeover challenge. And unfortunately, as much as I love her, Monique Hart cannot go any further in this competition than here. Monique was making every single one of her runways almost in the workroom or in the hotel room. And this, she would have to make 2 looks for. So there's no way that she was going to make 2 looks that were, good enough to do well in this challenge. Her big thing is to keeping her from the bottom is Aquaria. because Aquaria's runway was great, but her makeovers was really bad. Do I think that Monique could make her makeover look better than Aquaria did? Maybe. But Aquaria looked incredible. She literally looked, this is one of my favorite Aquaria looks from the whole season. So Monique trying to compete with that while also trying to get someone else together, no, I don't think it's going to happen. While unfortunately we will have a Monique and Monet lip sync here, and Monet is going to win because she's Monet. Obviously, Miss Cracker is going to win this challenge because she has one of the best makeovers probably ever, in my opinion, and not because of the look, but because of the resemblance and also just how great her makeover was, like the personality. So this is going to be obviously Miss Cracker's first win. And Mayhem, beautiful. She has beautiful looks. I think she would be fine here. Cameron would be in the top only because everyone else did worse. So it would be one of those things. So unfortunately we lose Monique here, but that brings us to our top 5 with the dumbest challenge probably ever. And obviously Aquaria ran away with this challenge. Her 2 looks were 2 of my favorite looks of all time ever. I should have listed her evil twin runway on the Q&A last week when someone asked what my favorite looks were. The evil twin look is one of my favorite looks of all time, period. So Aquaria is going to win. Mayhem, her runways were always great. Who knows how her voiceover would have been, but so many of these girls just used like their unused runways for this challenge. That's why they all looked like cavemen in the second part, because they just used their prehistoric runways. So Mayhem is beautiful. She's gorgeous. Her runways are great. I don't see how she would do terrible here. And then we have our bottom 3, which is Cameron, Monet, and Cracker. I do think that Cameron would be spared here because even if her looks weren't incredible, they were at least cohesive. Whereas Monet, we know, had some of the worst runways we've ever seen on Drag Race this season. And Cracker's were just so disjointed, it made no sense. Monet and Cracker would be in the bottom 2 here. And Cracker, her comedic lip syncing style just did not fit this song whatsoever. Whereas I think Monet would kill this song. So Monet is going to win here. And Cracker is going to go home. So then they all do their American verses. No one goes home because we have to do what? The lip sync for the crown. It really is such a crapshoot. Who knows what would happen? What I can say is Rue's going to spin the wheel. Cameron's going to get picked. Who does Cameron pick? Because in the season, she picks Asia. Now, maybe it was because they were good friends. Maybe it was because she thought she had the best chance of beating her. I really don't know. What I do know is Cameron went into this finale not wanting to win. So I don't think that she wanted to take out Aquaria or Eureka, as they were probably the best options to win. So maybe she picks Monet Exchange here because Monet lip synced 4 times and there's no way that Rue was ever going to give her the win in this scenario. She doesn't pick Aquaria. I don't think she picks Mayhem. So let's say Cameron picks Monet so that when she lip syncs the house down, she doesn't knock out someone who is possibly going to win. So Monet versus Cameron to Nasty. I think Monet would go on here. I think that it is just such up Monet's alley, this like campy, sexy song. Cameron did great. I think Monet would win. So then we have Aquaria versus Mayhem to If. And if you didn't watch my last video, Aquaria falls over in this lip sync. She doesn't do that well, according to the audience that was there. So Mayhem would win here because Mayhem is an incredible lip syncer. And this is where it's like, okay, Mayhem has 1 win and Monet has 1 win. So neither did great in the season. Monet lip synced 4 times and Mayhem lip synced once. So now they're going to lip sync to Bang Bang. The second lip sync never matters. The second lip sync literally could not matter. It is just who has the best track record. Here it's Mayhem. Mayhem would probably win regardless. Monet would do great, but this is such a jubilant and peppy and fun song, and I think that's where Mayhem kind of shines, where her personality can come out like that. So I think Mayhem would win this lip sync. And that means Mayhem would win season 10 of Drag Race with not the best track record ever. Kind of a miracle she ended up at the end anyway, but looking at both my opinions and at the polls that I put out to you guys, which got over 150 votes, thank you so much for that. I really do use these guys. Like, so many times I'm like, am I being biased? Am I being crazy? And I look at these polls and I'm like, no, all right. You guys never gave Mayhem anything below safe as the popular vote. Nothing even really came close to her lip syncing in the popular vote. So I guess I'm not crazy, and Mayhem is just great. But yeah, Mayhem wins season 10 in this scenario with one challenge win all season long. But I mean, I guess we saw Evie Oddly with this track record the next season, so it's not crazy by any stretch of the imagination. Her track record is not bad. She has 5 high placements, a win, a low placement, and a bottom 2. So honestly, it's not that different from Evie Oddly, but Evie Oddly also had a very not fair track record where I think she could have gotten more wins. So it kind of like, in my mind, it seems better than it is. So maybe this isn't crazy, but yeah, in another dimension, we might have seen Mayhem Miller as the winner of Drag Race. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe Aquaria does beat Mayhem. Maybe Mayhem sucks in If, but I just don't see it, to be honest with you. I just don't see Mayhem not doing incredible, because watching Mayhem lip sync is so mesmerizing. And if you guys have not seen her videos on YouTube or other people's videos of her at shows on YouTube, please watch. She's an incredible performer. Honestly, I'm fine with this. Top 2 of Monet and Mayhem, that's kind of like a dream scenario. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Where did I go wrong in this? Did I do something wrong? Let me know. But also, if you're getting mad about a random stranger's opinions on a random season that doesn't even exist on YouTube, please, just check yourself a little bit. It's truly not that deep. This fandom is honestly so toxic, it makes me sick. So please, if you feel like commenting something nasty, I'm probably gonna delete it. So just don't even bother. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment below what you thought. What would you have changed? Let me know how your unbiased, fair version of season 10 would have gone. How would it have been different than mine? UK2 is coming next. I'm in the middle of watching UK2, and if you want to see some of my live reactions, follow me on Instagram. I am a little shook already, so get excited for that. The Riggery of Drag Race UK2 is going to be the next season I cover, and then we'll go back and do season 9. And eventually I'll get to Canada. Eventually. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been a great day solving the mystery of who killed those butterflies at the finale. And the answer is no one, because Asia never got the chance to commit murder on live television in this scenario. I'm sure Pete is happy, at least. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.